shows your commitment to learn and make your life healthier. So that's something very amazing. Yeah, anyone saying something?
No, ma'am, all the it's muted.
Okay. So, so today's session is something which every one of us, one way or the other, has come across. Okay, fever. So before that, we really understand what is fever. Yeah, why does it occur? Is it good? Is it not good? Is it something that we need to worry upon? So all these questions we will address it in today's session. But before that, we really do that, we have to really understand that what is a disease, first of all. So disease is something like, you have seen there is a darkness, there is a light, right? So darkness and light both exist, to each other. And when we just switch on the light in the darkness, there is a light which spreads all over, right? So darkness is not something, an entity in itself. That means if there is a light coming, if there is a sunlight coming, or if we are making a light, we are switching on the light, then this darkness goes away. So in nature cure, so this is something considered not as a problem, not as an issue, which otherwise in medical sense we understand. Like disease is a problem. Disease is something which we must always, get rid of, or something which we must be always fearful about, that we should not get it. So all these notions really, is because of certain understanding that we have received from the sources around us. So in nature cure, we say that disease is our friend. And this is a statement being given by Louis Kuhn. So why this statement? Because there is a reason behind why diseases comes in anyone's body. And disease is dis-ease, which means the body is not at ease. That's the only explanation to this. But we understand diseases with respect to so many names. And now these so many names are becoming even more and more and more with each passing years and decades. So there are a lot many names, but in nature cure, we do not go by those names. Whatever disease you have, the ultimate cause is one. The primary cause of that is one, and that is the unhygienic way of living. And this unhygienic way of living, creates a kind of a process which is called as enervation. Like if your body starts feeling little not so equipped to do the elimination properly. So if elimination is not happening properly because of this enervation, like the body is not able to do this process completely, then there is an accumulation of waste inside the body. Now this, we have learned it so many times, we've heard it so many times. Now I'm repeating it again for you all. You know this already, that indigestion and constipation is the mother of all diseases. And this is truth. This is actually a truth. So body has two main functions to do, mainly two functions for which it is necessary to be done on a on a regular basis so that we can live, and these two functions are mainly digestion and elimination, right? And there is assimilation process also, and there are other processes also, but these are primary two main functions I'm saying. So if digestion is not happening properly, which means there is an indigestion, and if the body is very much enervated, like not able to do the elimination properly, so the toxic element remains inside your system. So whatever the waste is accumulated in the system will lead to several problems, and which in our day-to-day sense we call those as disease. So in nature cure, there is nothing that we are afraid of any disease, because we say that disease has come because of a certain cause. There is a certain reason behind it, right? So we need to really see that what are we doing on a day-to-day basis that is creating this enervation. Are we so these questions you can have it, for yourself, that are you eating healthy food? Are you eating the food which is meant for your body, right? Which is natural, which is seasonal, and which will create healthy cells. So are you eating that kind of a food? Are you resting in between, the daytime? So resting means your physical rest, right? It's needed. Also, are your organs always constantly working, or are they taking rest in between? So if you're eating at frequent levels, your organs are not getting proper rested, and hence the digestion becomes weaker with time. So in the youthful stage, we say we can digest everything. We have a lot of energy, like we use these terminologies, but we don't have any concept of energy and all that, right? That we have a concept of vitality. So our own vitality is used for the digestion of the food. So when we are young, our vitality is used to digest any kind of food which we give to our body. But as we grow older, our body's capacity to do this digestion becomes a little weaker, because our vitality is also going down. So we need to be very cautious, very mindful in spending our vitality. So we have to conserve our vitality so that the main functions of the body can be done properly, right? So now this concept of health and disease is something we say it is one. So in nature cure, there is nothing different from health and disease. So disease comes as a process to clean the body. So it is a cleansing process, and with this cleansing process, the body is able to cure itself. So it is the body's mechanism to do its job, to do the cleaning process. So it is something which brings health. So in nature cure, we say disease and health is same. It's not different. So so basically, in a process, when a person is having a disease or any kind of a discomfort, it tells us that the body is now ready to get rid of all the foreign matter which is not used by the body, which is not needed in the body, and therefore you feel discomfort because it was not happening regularly on its own, because our lifestyle is so uh, not so aligned to the body system or the natural system. So that is why this waste gets accumulated in the body, and then body, when it is getting over the limit is crossing, and as we understand that body's main role is to survive any body, right? Any human being. So the survival is the main question. So for that purpose, it has to do its own job by maybe raising the temperature, or by maybe throwing out the toxins out of the system forcibly, because otherwise, the survival will come into question. So your own body is your first and most important friend. It will always make you survive. It will always try to adapt to things which one is doing. So this kind of a understanding, spiritual understanding, if we get it, that what this body is a temple. Like some people say that this body is our first temple. There is something which is inside of us which we need to take care. We can't put anything into our system which can lead to problems later on, in whether in terms of food or whether in terms of any kind of a thoughts. So those things has to be very carefully given to ourselves, because this is something which is gonna stay with us for lifelong, which is gonna give us all the output, productivity, efficiency which we look forward in our lives. So that is one thing which I wanted to address by saying that disease is our friend. Disease is nothing to be worried upon. If it has come to a body, it has come because of a reason. Work on the cause, work on that reason, and disease will disappear. So disease is a mechanism of the body to get rid of the accumulated foreign matter or the accumulated waste in the body, which is needed to be thrown out some way or the other, right? It can't stay in the body for long, right? And if it stays like for a longer period of time, it creates fermentation. You understand, like if something is there inside the body for a longer period of time, not getting eliminated, so what it will create a fermentation of those accumulated toxins. So further it will create more chronic diseases, chronic problems, and other kinds of issues. So we need to really uh, work on the system where we can say that what kind of a lifestyle that we are leading. Now, this fermentation, which I said, if it is getting rotten inside the body, and when body is not able to uh, carry, certain things in a usual manner, it starts depositing at several places in the body, because it's highly enervated. Body is highly enervated, and body is not able to carry forward its all the processes, so it has to deposit it somewhere or the other. Now we start facing some problems because of that. Some people say, I have a blockage, I have a heart blockages, I have this high blood pressure, I have this pain in my knees. Some people, then it develops to a arthritic situation. Some people starts with the breathing problems, but ultimately it becomes asthma or sometimes TB. So these things develops over the period of time. No chronic problems comes in a day or two. It always develops. It always carry forward from one time period to the another time period. And who is responsible? We ourselves are responsible for it, because we are the ones who are leading such kind of a life which is creating such kind of a situations or issues in ourselves, in our body, right? So fermentation produces heat in the body, and which is called as fever. This is the definition by Louis Kuhn. So there is a rise in temperature because this foreign matter has to be eliminated. And then at that time, all these natural exits, like the way you pass the stools in the morning, usually it all gets stopped. So the temperature is being raised, and now the body has to do this job on its own. The more the accumulation inside, the more the problem inside, the more uh, uh, the intensity of it, the higher the fever is. So at the time, it is not a good idea to stop the fever. So if our systems, if our elimination is happening properly over the period of time on regular basis, regular motions are happening, and our kidneys are doing the job properly in terms of like urination is coming. Now another point is like wanted to mention that some people think when our urine is white it's a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. If the urine is yellow, that means your kidneys are working properly. That means the toxins are getting released, are getting out of your system. So that is something that you need to see. If it's more of water, white thing which is coming, which means that you're over drinking water, and there is a pressure on the kidneys that you're creating, right? So another way is the skin. If the skin pores are obstructed, then this elimination is not happening properly. So you have to create such kind of a thing so that your skin is able to eliminate. Sweating is happening with regular exercise, with not applying any chemicals on your body, so that it is just, perspiring. It is just releasing the toxins from inside. And also because of the weak respiration, because of the kind of respiration nowadays that we do hurriedly, we are doing very shallow breathing kind of thing. That also leads to the problem that the foreign matter are not able to come outside, and because respiration also is responsible for this cleansing thing. And if every day that we do pranayama, if we every day do this deep breathing exercises, we are able to eliminate the toxins out of our system very, very, very efficiently. But are we doing all these things? No. Some way or the other, the reason comes out to be that we don't have time. Now, when the disease comes, you are bound to pause. You're bound to take a break because your limbs are totally now, not able to get up. You're not able to get up. You don't feel energy in your limbs, in your hands, in your legs, because body takes away all the power from your metabolic systems because it has to do some job. In fever, there's no energy left to you. Now, what do we think in that moment? Oh, eat it so that you get back your energy. And that is the biggest mistake that we do during fever. During fever, if you feed anyone, it is like feeding the fever. The fever will not go down. It will prolong. It will make the situation worse. So what is needed is that one goes for fasting so that body can do its job. You can take water in between, sips of water, right? And take complete rest. And there are so many things that we advises. So depending on what kind of a fever, what kind of a, who is the patient, what age they are into, and what are, because it's a healing crisis, of course. But this healing crisis has arisen because of our own reasons that we have created these conditions in our body. So when we make corrective measures on that, and at the time of fever, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to take any medicine. We don't have to do anything at that time because now body is doing its job. Whatever you have to do is before the fever or after the fever is gone, not during the time of fever, because now body has taken over it. Now it's your job to support it, to be with it, to allow that to happen. But in today's world, we are told that if fever is there, it has to go away soon. You have to start feeling better because disease is bad. Disease is not good for ourselves, and it will also lead to our, this, that we have to take some leaves from our office or from the work. Our work will suffer. All these things comes in our mind, and we do not allow that to happen. We feel that this is a waste of time. So this kind of a mentality, this kind of a thinking has to be questioned, has to be seen, has to be reflected upon. That the body which is there with you all the time, doing all sorts of work, now when it needs its cleansing, when it needs your support, you are saying, I can't give because I don't have time. Now, who is this I here? You have to see that. So the body is your first friend. And if you're not taking care of it, how can we expect, how can we see that in in our older days, in old when we become old, it will be working efficiently, it will be giving you, what you want. Then we come onto the bed totally, or we are not able to do so many functions. So there are many people, in old age, they have become very accustomed to this idea that because of old age, I'm not able to walk properly, I'm not able to go out, I'm not able to do certain things now. But age is just a number, as my mentor, Dr. Arun Sharma, always says. And he is himself 82 years old. So if you see him, he does everything as any young person will do. He do go for his jog. He does all kind of other work all throughout the day. He keeps himself busy in this work. So what do we have to say? That is this the age which is creating a problem, or is this the lifestyle which is the creating a problem? Of course, no one has come forever. So, of course, organs is gonna go older with time. Our vitality is gonna go less, decrease with time. But how are we using our vitality? How are we conserving it? How are we making it, useful for us? That's the main question. So this is something that should we fear about fear, or should we celebrate fever? Right? So this is in nature cure. Whosoever practices nature cure, they rejoice when the fever comes, because now they know body will do its job now, and I have to support my body. And in 2-3 days time, they get their, the lost strength. And after the strength has come, the food is given to that person, or we take it. My own son, about 3 years back, he got a very severe fever, 104 it reached, and he was actually, there was a hallucination happening, and it was for the first time I saw it. And fortunately, I was at the camp at that time during lockdown, and Dr. Arun Sharma was also there, and he told me that's okay, because this was something, in a higher fever, something starts happening. But we kept on doing the protocol which is meant to be done. And for 2.5 days, we never gave any food to my son. And he was very small at that time, around 7 years. And when late, so 2.5 days he was on nothing. And then afterwards, he started to say, okay, give me something, give me some fruit or something. And I said, you want to have papaya? And he used to dislike papaya. But when I said papaya, he said, yes, yes, give me papaya. I will have papaya. Which means the hunger was developing. And when the hunger develops, the real taste comes to your palate. Now you will start enjoying what nature has given to you. Then you will not say, this I don't like, that I don't like, whatever, in the natural state which is available in the nature. So any salads, any fruits which you say you don't like, but if you are in real hunger, you will start enjoying that thing. So 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 I understood that the hunger is developing at that time when my son asked for this papaya. So Dr. Sharma told my son at the time, you go outside, you know just play outside, go for a little run and come back here. If you are able to do that, we'll give you papaya. Now what does it mean? It means that if the body has the capacity, you know then only food can be given. Because if I give food to anyone or to my son at that time, the body has to um, use its own vitality to break down that food and make it in a usable form. So the digestion has to happen. Now if the body is already in a state where it needs some repair, it needs some healing, how can I divert that energy at that time for digestion? So it is needed that you see it clearly, when to be given and when not to be given. So obviously, if for a situations where it is going beyond controls, and then a trained person is needed to handle things. So do not do it on your own. But for smaller things, when it's just started, fever has just started or something, then at the time only start taking those protocols. Take sun baths, do pranayama, see how the elimination can happen. Take tona, which is a mini enema, like 200 to 50 ml water that you have to take. And do not eat anything. Just take sips of water. And in a day or two, you will be fine. One day itself that you will be fine. And then you can have coconut water later on when the fever is gone, and fruits you can take, ripened fruits, very little quantity, so that your system gets adjusted to it. Do not bombard with those food items which are heavier in nature. So if those heavier foods are taken, then it's a it's a stress on the body, right? So we don't want that stress to come in the body immediately after that it has recovered from something, right? So it's sensitive at that time. So do not give anything which is heavier in nature. So, and the symptoms has to be seen, and the body has to be given some relaxation. If the pain is there, something needs to be done in terms of hydrotherapy. So all of these things are there. But what I'm trying to convey here is that we need not to be afraid of fever. The fever is something very, very good for our body. Now, I have come across many people around me. Even I was also like that some point in time, that any small fever rising, we become worried, you know, and we give some medicine to lower the fever. Now, what are we doing at that moment? We are stopping the process of body. We are stopping the body's process to do what it is doing. So so that is what we have to really um, uh, understand. Now, with little example, I want you to visualize. Suppose you are out on vacations, and your house was uh, closed for about 1 month's time. When you will come back, what you will see? There is a dust, there is some kind of a like unhygienic environment, and then you need to clean that before you are going to settle in that house, right? So if for many days, if your room is uncleaned, what, you don't feel good, right? You want to clean it first. So likewise, if the body is not cleaned for a while, for few for some amount of some number of days, then the nature, the body starts to clean in itself on its own, right? It's a law of nature. Any body which is not cleaned, the germ starts to come on it to clean it. This is the role of the germs or the decomposers, because they are meant to do that. But then what do? We blame them for our disease. They are not to be blamed, because they come in an unhygienic environment. They come in a situation where toxins are there, where certain accumulation of waste are there. So that is their home, that is their breeding ground. So if we are providing that breeding ground, they will definitely come there. But if we are keeping our environment and our bodies very clean, no germ can survive in that. So this needs to be seen, that no germs create any problems. So therefore we always say that any malaria, dengue fever, dengue fever, corona fever, or any viral fever can be treated naturally. And we need not to be fearful about that, because germs are not to be blamed. Germs are not the reason. Germs are the after effect of something which is already present in your body. There is a cause which is in your body, and germs are the effect to that. They are not just coming like that, right? So there is a condition which is there in the body, and then um, on that condition that these germs are developing or surviving or entering in any system. So what do we have to do? Do we focus on these germs and trying to remove those germs, kill those germs? Or do we, or should we remove the cause from the body? And the cause is the accumulation of waste, which has been inside your body uh, since some time. And that needs to be removed. Once that is removed, germs automatically will go away. They can never survive in a clean environment. The more you clean the environment, the more you cleanse the system, it cannot survive on its own. It will go away to find their own food wherever they can find it. For example, if you've heard of this, in Surat, uh, there was a plague at one point in time. There was a lot of rats, and now the cause was the unhygienic conditions that was there. So at the time, there was this cleaning that happened at a war front. Now Surat is one of the cleanest city. After that thing has been cleaned properly, now there is no signs of any rodents or any plague coming back. So that we need to really address it, that we cannot always focusing upon just doing away with it or killing these germs just like that. They will go away on its own once the system is clean, right? So what do we need to do in when fever is there? So we need to rest. We need to rest, and rest at three levels. We need to rest at physical level, we need to rest at mental level, we need to rest at physiological level. Physical rest, we understand it, that we are just lying down, taking a break from the work and just doing nothing physically, because body is weak and feeling weak. There is no strength in our metabolics, our limbic systems. So that's fine. We definitely take this physical rest. But we should also take this mental and physiological rest, which is that we do not eat anything physiologically, so that body's organs can take rest and do this important job of cleaning the system, removing the toxins out of the body. And that can only happen when we are mentally at peace, when we are not having fears in mind about the fever. If you are having this fearful thought, oh, what will happen if it will go up, क्या होगा मेरा, कुछ गड़बड़ ना हो जाए, और अगर कोई छोटे बच्चे को हो जाता है तो we become even more fearful, scared that something will happen. So this fear needs to go away. This understanding needs to be there in ourselves, that why this fever is coming now and what are we supposed to do in that condition. So we need to keep a mental poise. We need not to panic at that time. We need to understand, and then we have to take certain measures. You can, if the temperature is going high, you can apply a wet pack on the forehead. Keep doing toner. Keep, if the body needs, if there's a pain, then, the hydrotherapy, the being in the water, hot water, wiping the body with the hot, the warm water, scrubbing it with the cool water. So there are so many measures that one can take, right, in order to reduce the pain, in order to create a condition favorable for the body to work, right? And not eating at that time. And body should rest, the person should rest in dark, and the fresh air must come inside the body. No AC, no nothing like that, that the windows and doors are closed. There has to be a fresh air coming, sunlight. One has to show sunlight to the body also at that time. Pranayama has to be done. There has to be a calmer environment, friendly environment, loving environment for that patient. And once it is all there, the person start feeling better, right? So to conclude here, I would like to say that there is only one disease. There is only, the cause of disease is one, right? The treatment of all diseases are one. Health and disease is one. And food and medicine is one. So there is no difference in whatever, we feel that health, for health we have to do something different, for disease we have to do something different. No, we have to do the same thing in order to get healthier ourselves, healthier bodies, right? So follow the guidelines of health, embrace these 5 elements of nature, and start working on day-to-day basis on yourself, and and create a healthy habits, because these habits are something which are going to give you benefits in the longer terms. And small steps are something which are needed. You can't do anything um, just like that, at one go. To start following this healthy regime, bit by bit, slowly, gradually, but start imbibing that on day-to-day basis. So I hope that you find this lecture useful. And uh, so anytime, if you have any, while you're doing this and any queries comes in your mind, you can ask, you can message on the group and you can ask me. But and you can also make yourself aware with this education also. And it is not that only few people are talking about it. Now there are many natural hygienists who have talked about this in the past also, and there are many more who are talking about it now, right? So one has to understand it, that fever not to be suppressed, not to be stopped. It has to be managed well at that time. And and one has to work as a prevention, start working on the lifestyle from today, so that you can create a healthier body, right? A healthier lifestyle and a healthy life uh, for all of us, that all of us want eventually for ourselves. So with these words, I stop here, and if there are any questions, you may ask now.
Thank you, Tulika, for a wonderful session. And
Joanna.
anyone has any question? I think we are all thinking about, next time how we can be better prepared.
No, it's good to reflect upon, because whatever I have told, no, it's something different. It's something not very conventionally, known otherwise. So it's a very new concept, and it's good that we reflect upon, we think over it, we assess it, and then if there are any questions, you can come later on also, because I want to leave you with this thought, and be with this thought, and just contemplate and think about it, how it used to be earlier, how it is becoming now, what are the situations that you face it, how this thing gets cured eventually. These questions, if you will really minutely observe, then you will get the answers yourself, right? So it's okay. I also don't expect a question at this point in time, but if there is something you want to share, you can. But it's okay. I want to leave you with this thought, and we can, whenever you're meeting next, if you have any questions, you can come with your questions that time also.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Tulika. And yeah, I think
for this